My name is Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, a retired professor of accounting. Indeed, I was elected professor emeritus at my university 2022. I'm the president and chairman of council, Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. There was a write-up I was doing some time ago, and I mentioned three near-death situations I had growing up. The first was barely 3 years old. I had a long chewing stick in my mouth, and the rain had just fallen, and everywhere was wet. And I was like a child of 3 years, running all over the place, long chewing stick in my mouth, and I fell, and the chewing stick went right into my throat. Incidentally, my father, a nurse, had his job cut out for him. I was brought into the hospital for surgery and all kinds of things. Eventually, I was saved, but it distorted my voice. And throughout my growing up years, my voice was sounding like a cracked pot. Then gradually, it's how God does his things. It has healed substantially, and I'm normal. The second one was when I fell from a tree. When I was young, I used to climb, unless if it's not a tree, whether it is a pear or mango or orange or coconut, I would climb. And I used to be much slimmer than this. And I used to climb and swim. And there I was, climbed this coconut tree and fell. And it could have spelled disaster. But again, God saved me. The third one was an accident in a motor vehicle. With the entire family, my family, we were in a station wagon. 11 members of our family were in that vehicle. And it swerved and somersaulted. We were saved. So I said, growing up, God watched over us and kept us. And I schooled at the famous Dennis Memorial Grammar School, Onisha. We usually consider the DMGS the herald of science education east of the Niger. And most of the doctors, engineers in eastern Nigeria went through DMGS, both whether they are from Anambra or from Akwa Ibom or from Rivers. Most of them came through DMGS. And again, recently, that DMGS gave me the highest honor they ever give to any of their old boys, the Chike Okonya Award. Again, I felt much humbled because I felt there were many others, perhaps more qualified than me. And I was asking them, what did you see that made you come to me? Then I went to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, where I did my undergraduate work. Incidentally, my undergraduate, my postgraduate, my doctoral, they were all done in that same university. I graduated, when I came into the university, that was 1973. Within the first 1 year, I became a foundation scholar. That meant that I was on a scholarship funded by the university itself. I had about 3 scholarship offers that year. I had the federal government one. Then I had there was another one that came in like that. And this one was the one that the university itself provided. They said the best student in the faculty won that award, and it would run all through your studies. And anytime your cumulative point average fell below a particular level, you lose it. So you have to work to sustain it. And happily, I kept it all through my studies. And I still have the letter they wrote me, making me still saying, by virtue of this, you are now called a foundation scholar. And I read with university scholarship. I came in for my postgraduate. Federal government scholarship was also available. I read, did my master's and did my PhD. And 1991, I became a professor of accounting. And that professorship I held until I retired in the year 2020. So if you add it up, I was a professor from 1991, so almost 29 years, or there, about 29 years professorship. So it's been quite a busy time. Let me also mention something that was very critical in my work, in my life. 1973, I was at a Christian program where I took a decision. We call it, people talk about being born again, giving your life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ. And it became an overarching influence over what I was to do or become in the years that follow. I think that much of what has happened in my life in these past years, I can trace to that singular experience because it colored a lot of what I do. I became a preacher of the Word of God. I became a student of the Word of God. I became also, that explains also why towards the end I decided to become an ordained priest. Well, my inaugural address, I titled it Changing the Metrics of Leadership Assessment. Hitherto people usually determine leadership. Oh, you are a good leader. You built this, you set up that, you did that other one. And projects. In management, you say you are either task oriented or you're human resources oriented. That's you now target on improving the lot of the human personnel. I chose to change the metrics slightly. And what I've tried to do is to impact on the lives of people. In fact, I said, when I was coming in, I made up my mind I was not going to build any project. This building had just been acquired by my immediate predecessor in office. Beautiful building. So I said, I'm not going into the task of building any other projects. All I will now do will be to improve capacity development of the ordinary individual. That was going to be my task. But something came up. Just before I came in last year, federal government licensed ANAN to set up a university. And that meant that the Lord fell on my administration to actualize this vision. We have received the license, turned this idea into a reality. So we saw ourselves building again. We're building a large office structure at the permanent site. We are building a new gate and a new entrance to separate our college from the university, so the two can stand together. And spending quite loads and loads of funds to make these things happen. So here we are, setting up structures, and yet trying to build the human capacity. At any time we have the opportunity, we take our people out to go and interact with other accountants. We are members of the accountancy bodies in West Africa. We are a member of the Pan-African Federation of Accountants, and we are members of the International Federation of Accountants. And from time to time, like in last year, we were in Maputo, Mozambique, for a congress of the Pan-African Federation. Earlier this year, we were in Liberia, Monrovia, for Congress of the Accountancy Bodies of West Africa. And in November this year, we'll be in Mumbai, India, for the World Congress of Accountants. The idea is to expose our members to professional challenges globally, so that you will live up to the best, of the profession wherever you are. And nobody will never accept the tag of inferiority from anybody. And it's our duty to train, to equip, and to skill. We skill and reskill. We equip and re-equip. We train and we retrain, so that they will be on the cutting edge of the demands of the discipline. We have just we were at the National Assembly to effectively amend our law in order to lend greater weight to what we are doing. That's an interesting dimension that is going to come up very soon. ANAN has declared October 14 Corporate Social Responsibility Day, where we want to impact on our immediate society. And we have 44 branches all over the country. And we've charged every branch, reach out to somewhere and do something. IDP centers, um, the poor and the widows around you, schools, orphans, the underprivileged, whatever project you settle on, go ahead and do it. And they raise funds here at the head office. We have raised almost about 2 million naira, just individual contributions. The body has not added its own. And what we are doing is setting up the structures. At Ayaragu in Nasarawa State, we just try to reconstruct the library of a secondary school, touch it up, and provide a good learning environment for the students. Our chapter here in Abuja has gone to visit a number of IDP centers and all kinds of orphanages to provide food, to provide clothing, to provide all kinds of nourishment. So these are some of the things we have also tried to do this year. We could go on, and there are times, when you want to list bring all of them out, you find that at times it may be difficult to pinpoint one or two, but they are there. We've worked extensively to impact on our society. Major thing is finance. And we go all out of our way to encourage corporate bodies to invest in what we're doing. I must say that a number of them are beginning to respond. One of our federal agencies promised to build for us an ICT center at our permanent site at Kwal, near Jos. An ICT center for the production of ICT skilled graduates. We're working towards that. What again? We are reaching out to many many corporate bodies, NNPC, NPA, NIMASA, just name it. Banks, Zenith Bank, First Bank, asking them to come and be part of what we're doing. And to write their names in gold as they help us in the task of making Nigeria better than we found it. Just the contributions of members. You see, subscription. But there's a problem we have with subscription. Debts on subscriptions have run up to billions of naira. And people are not paying as they ought. There are two things that have really sustained us outside of this. The first is the MCPD. We call it Mandatory Continuing Professional Development. It is a training program that validates the membership of our members. Every member must attend one training program in a year to remain a member. And when they come, they pay some funds, and the marginal return on those funds help us to go on doing what we are doing. The second issue is the College of Accountancy, which you have at Jos. It is the first college in Africa and the only one of its kind in Africa. And indeed, globally, there's no College of Accountancy that's exactly like that. And students come there and they get taught. We professionalize them. We expose them to the challenges of the profession, and they pay. So these are the two main things that have helped us to keep our heads above water. But then, looking at the enormity of what we have to do, if you go to Lagos, where we used to have our corporate headquarters in Lagos, 2500 Herbert Macaulay Street, Yaba, is again a 4-floor apartment rising into the heavens and is scraping the skies. Well, that's our regional office now. Then here we have this one. And we do this things out of our own funds. And then we generate the funds we spend, and we account for them. So that's how we survive. And at times you wonder whether a nation that spends billions of naira on, if you like, some irrelevancies, you wish they could come and put some of this million into this place. And how far it could go. How far it could go, providing, training facilities for our young people. I think the Chinese know what they were saying when they said that if you're planning for just a year, then you can grow rice. If you're planning for, maybe decades, you can plant trees. But if you're planning for centuries, you better plant men. And what we're doing here is to plant men, groom men, nurture men who will take over the future. We are raising a generation that we hope will be better than us. Well, we have many things we do. We have, I've mentioned the MCPD, mandatory continuing professional development, to make our members remain, sharp, well informed. Then we have our national conference. We just ended one. We ended a national conference from September 12 to 15, and that conference attracted almost 5,000 members from all over the country, and they came to this city and stayed with us. And we brought even speakers from outside the country, and they came and spoke to us. We broke up into sessions, concurrent sessions, and with different topics and themes, and just making sure that our people are well developed. Then we also have, I mentioned again, the college, where we have an institution that trains people. People feel that accounting is so practical that you don't need a college. Just go into the industry and understudy a master. We say, well, that's not good enough. You may do that, but in the end, for a discipline to become really an enlightened discipline, like medicine, like engineering, like architecture, you need the body of knowledge to be brought into a classroom setting where people will learn it and then go and begin to practicalize what they have learned. So we have that college too. We have again we have all kinds of we organize workshops, we organize seminars, we publish books, we prepare standards, and to guide our members. We have practitioners who are in the public eye. All they do is prepare books for accountants who are working. You go there, serve their interests. A business wants to prepare its account, they invite you. You go through, give a report, and based on that report, they know the tax they will pay. They know what is happening to their resources. We have our system. After being president for 2 years, you step down, the first vice president becomes the new president. And during that 2 years, the first vice president is the president. I will now become the immediate past president. It's an office. Immediate past president for another 2 years. When that finishes, you drop off the radar. You're no longer in council. You're still a member, coming for conferences, coming for workshops, coming for training sessions, but you're no longer a member of council. You're no longer a member of the exco. You're just a member of the association. I just came in from a trip. I've been away for a while, and somehow the system is running smoothly. On the ground floor, we are doing a membership retreat, admitting new members, and it started without my being here. I'll be coming in tomorrow to induct the new members, but it started on Monday. So somebody's keeping this, the ship, on an even keel. So yeah, he was at the college, and then he became here. So he knows an in and out, and he knows what to do to keep the place going. And like when you were coming away, he said that you take on tag. That's his introduction. So that we keep tag of who comes into this place and where they are at any point in time. All we need to do is go to the records. Where was the person going to? When did he come in? When did he go out? And there are many other things, we had to, because of money, funds, we stopped them halfway. If you had been here 6 months ago, you would have been surprised at what you now see. A lot of changes, and we give him credit for doing quite a lot of this. Well, that's I usually say that if we see beyond the normal, it's because we are standing on the shoulders of those who went before us. Any new person should Do not throw away what your predecessors have done. Use them, use those things as stepping stones now to forge ahead. Even if it means changing course, your priority might not be the priority we had. But let it be that we don't have a new beginning with a new administration. Build on what the others have done and go on and impact on the life of the people in a tremendous manner. We have tried to do a lot of things. One way or the other, some people may praise it, some people may condemn it, but we meant well. And we are saying whoever comes in, build on it. If we have made mistakes, correct it. You see, Nigerians need to know how to show respect to those who were in office before you came in. And then go ahead and chart your own course. You don't need to discredit people unnecessarily. Build your own, edifice and leave it better than that.